Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to take a look at how the AGL LR Nappa and Vegeta performs in the Omega Shenron event. Now, LR Nappa and Vegeta are a very good unit, and honestly speaking they're great. I think they have a fantastic ETA. I think they're a really strong unit. I think they have an excellent kit design, and I think they're very flexible. I think there's a lot of good things about them. I do think two things though. Firstly, the way they link on some of their stronger teams is not great. A lot of the times these guys are looking for another Nappa and Vegeta, or Nappa, or Vegeta kind of Saiyan Saga unit, and they're just not going to get that on their strongest teams. Terrifying Conquerors, Space Traveling Warriors, a lot of these are going to incorporate Coolers, Freezers, even to a larger extent Turles doesn't necessarily link up well with these guys because they don't have big bad bosses, which is something strange because most obviously Saga kind of arc units have big bad bosses, but Saiyans don't, or at least these ones don't. Turles does, but these guys don't. So it is a bit interesting. I think that's maybe the only hindrance that I find with them. Otherwise I find them very good. Obviously, there's a couple of things to note. So you're going to see me use the active skill against Tech Omega Shenron. This is for a reason. Actually, it's to showcase that you need to be aware of their active skill. It gives them evasion, but remember that Tech Omega Shenron does disable evasion. So you're going to see me use it. They're not going to be able to evade. It's kind of a big deal. Of course, they have great defense anyway. So my unit has a dupe. They're not getting any crazy links, they're not getting any support, they're under 170% lead, and they tank more than fine with just one super attack. So it's because of that massively raising attack and defense that they have on the 18 key, it's because of the additional attack and defense of 78%, it's also because of that greatly raising on their 12 key, and yeah, just in general they actually have very good defense, a very solid defense, a very defensively consistent unit. That active skill also comes in handy a lot during the strength phase and potentially the int phase. I will say one thing is that the team that I'm running them on, it's the team that lets them down a little bit more than anything else. They're a perfectly fine second slot unit. Nappa's great. You've got obviously solid defense off the super. They're great during the strength phase because they have type advantage. All of that is really good stuff. Vegeta, when he transforms, or when you get Vegeta, they've got the heal, which is fantastic. Of course, that heal really comes in clutch. And Vegeta himself is pretty good. He's got guarding all attacks from 3 turns, which is really solid. And even when only facing an extreme enemy, when not facing a super unit, he still does a great job. He still has 340k defense. He still does very nice attack stats, 9 million, 10 million, and this is missing a huge chunk of his passive because he's not facing a extreme class unit. He's not facing one of those units. So it's a very good kind of display from Vegeta, defensively of course, but also offensively. And he's pretty good in the end phase as well. He'll take a bit of chip damage, even with his guard active. I think he takes 20k or 25k, but he's pretty good. It's the rest of the team that's kind of in a mixed bag, really. And you actually more need to use items for the rest of the team than you do for Vegeta, because the thing is, Vegeta, he's going to massively raise that attack and defense. When he fires off a super attack, it's going to be very close to 1 million in terms of defense. He also has the chance to get additionals. That's also going to massively raise his defense as well. Well, greatly raise his defense, I should say. So all of a sudden, Vegeta's going to be sitting with 1.2, 1.3 million defense and potentially guard still. So Vegeta's fine. The AoEs will give him some chip damage, but you should be fine with Vegeta as is. It's the rest of the team whereby you're probably going to be let down a little bit. It's not the end of the world, but it is just something that I wanted to point out. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think Nappa and Vegeta are a great unit. You have their solid defense, you have their solid performance offensively, you have the active skill, you have the heal, there's just a lot that's really good. And yes, of course, they're not a first slot tank. Yeah, when Vegeta loses his guard, definitely not a first slot tank. Even with his guard, still probably not a first slot tank, because you are still gaining a lot of defense on Super. It's not really something you can just kind of work around. It is something, you know, it's an important part of their kit. Like, you do need to factor that in. For me, though, personally, I don't have an issue with them. I do think, you know, of course, dupes help. I don't think dupes are massively necessary for these guys, but I do think additionals is definitely a much better way to build them, at least for me. I find that additionals are definitely the best way to build them. It provides defensive security. When you get into Vegeta's form, it provides offense because he has attacks effective against all types. He has crits. He has a lot going on. So, yeah, I do think, personally speaking, that the way to construct them is with additionals, and I think you get a lot out of them in that stage. But yeah, I think a dupe isn't necessarily necessary, but I think obviously it does help. As always, dupes do help. I think that's, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand that dupes are a very important process of, you know, like Dokkan and how strong Dokkan units are. But yeah, for me, they're great. I really like them as a unit, and I think they're awesome. Some adjustments to the team, of course, but I think them as a unit, incredibly good in this event and just in a lot of events. So yeah, only shame is like no big bad bosses. It does give the other units a little bit of a problem, but yeah,